Football League. It's the Denver Broncos and the Oakland Raiders ready to go head-to-head as we wrap up week 1 of the 2008 NFL season. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Oakland. Tonight in the booth, we make it very, very easy for you. Mike, and Mike. Mike Greenberg alongside the Hall of Famer Mike Ditka, and my partner for Mike and Mike in the morning is Mike GOLIC. Susie Culber on the field. She will join us shortly. And tonight, gentlemen, the spotlight will shine most brightly on the 2 young quarterbacks, beginning with the #1 pick coach in the 2000 NFL Draft, and that's Jamarcus Russell.
Well, Jamarcus can't worry about his big arm tonight. He's got to make big decisions, smart decisions, protect the football. I think his best friends on that football team are going to be Zach Miller, the tight end, Justin Fargas, and Darren McFadden. I think they're going to get a big dose of the running game, and they're going to keep it fairly simple for him.
His counterpart tonight, GOLIC, of course, Jay Cutler, beginning his 3rd season in the NFL.
And the 3rd year may be the charm for Jay Cutler. He and his coach, Mike Shanahan, think he is going to end up in the upper echelon of quarterbacks this year. Very confident, not cocky, but very, very confident. 20 touchdowns, 14 interceptions last year. His goal this year, he doesn't worry about touchdown passes. He say they'll come. He wants single-digit interceptions. Either way, both he and his coach feel when the end of the year rolls around, when you're talking about the top quarterbacks in the NFL, the name Jay Cutler is going to be right there.
His coach, of course, is
perfect setup for the Oakland Raiders, really. I mean, they've had a hard time lately. They've struggled. They got a pretty young football team. They brought a lot of new people in. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think they got to go back to playing Raider football. I think the NFL is better when the Raiders are a good team. Everybody loves to hate them.
The Broncos have won the opening toss, and they have elected to receive. So Sebastian Janikowski will kick it away as we prepare to wrap up the opening weekend of Pro Football 2008, and the kick is short, and it's taken by Andre Hall. Ball out over the 20, near the 25, and that's where the Broncos will begin. And so we get our first look tonight at young Jay Cutler, his 3rd year out of Vanderbilt. And the number's good in a class in which Matt Leinart has certainly struggled and lost his starting job in Arizona, and Vince Young was booed off the field yesterday at home. Cutler, you see his numbers from a year ago, almost 3,500 yards, actually 10th in passing yards, dating back to week 13 of 06, which is when he became the starting quarterback for the Broncos.
An interesting thing, this football team last year, the Denver Broncos, averaged a 27-yard line ball play. They're less than that right now.
Selvin Young, the zone setback, but they will swing it around to Eddie Royal with his quarterback out front throwing a block, but not a whole lot there. Nnamdi Asomugha stepping up from his corner position and making the tackle and staying at home.
Well, right off the bat, a little trickeration by the Broncos. Look at Cutler out front going for the cut block, but Asomugha is, we're going to talk a lot about this guy tonight, great in coverage, and he will come up and support the run as well. Tried to fool the Raiders on play #1. Oakland said nothing doing.
You know, you have all offseason, all preseason to prepare for your very first play.
And that's your first call.
And there it goes. 2nd and 8. Cutler. Outside, he's got his man, and there's Royal. And Royal with a first down and a nice play out over the 40. And Royal is a name that we can expect to call a lot tonight in the absence of Brandon Marshall.
Really a great route. Watch what he does here. He drives the defender off. And really, it looked like he gave up on him. Cutler gave up, drove him up, then he stops, comes back. Great route, great throw by Cutler, big arm.
Actually turned D'Angelo Hall around, a little surprising. Hall coming over in the offseason from Atlanta. And Eddie Royal, a name we're going to hear, the rookie from Virginia Tech, going to be counted on a lot tonight.
16 yards on the completion. And here's the run. Selvin Young, who had a hole. And a nice gang. And Selvin Young will now introduce you to all of his offensive teammates.
Broncos starting offense, Eddie Royal and Derrick Jackson outside making plays. Danny Graham in the tight end position.
And they flip it outside. And here's Royal again. And Royal will get the first down and more. Now, we mentioned we expect to see a lot of Eddie Royal, the rookie from Virginia Tech, because Brandon Marshall, overwhelmingly Cutler's favorite target, suspended for the 1 game.
I tell you, Mike Shanahan's gone into the playbook here, gang. This is so atypical what they do. It doesn't make any sense. They are run down the hill football team. They're doing every bit of trickery, reverses, passes, handoffs to tailback or receivers, a little bit of everything instead of pounding the football.
But so far it's worked.
Yeah.
1st and 10 from the 43 with Tony Scheffler in the ball game now at tight end. Cutler looking outside, and it's bobbled and lost on the outside by the tight end Nate Jackson. Kirk Morrison was in on the defense.
Welcome everybody to the Black Hole, the starting Raider defense. Up front, two-time Pro Bowler Derek Burgess, Tommy Kelly, Gerard Warren. Linebackers, myself, and Mr. 5'3", Thomas Howard. In the back end, D. Hall, Jabril Wilson, Mike Huff, and Nnamdi. Please throw the ball my way, Asamoah.
And don't expect him to throw it his way a lot. Maybe the most underrated corner in the National Football League. 2nd and 10. The give is to Young. And this time, not much there, you know, Coach. When they've tried to fool them, it's worked. When they've run it straight ahead so far, not much.
Well, they stretched it out pretty good. That was pretty good defense. They stretched it out. They had a guy in every bit. They had a guy in every gap, and that's the way you play. I mean, to me, I don't think if they want to win this football game, the Oakland Raiders, they cannot get beat with the running game, and they're not going to let them beat them. That's a pretty good job right there, because they had pretty good ISO blocks.
The whole idea with this Denver offense and the zone blocking, and we'll get into that, is north and south running. You make one cut and you take off. What Oakland did there, a good job of. Whenever you make that running back go east and west, defense is usually going to win.
First 3rd down of the ball game for Cutler, and Michael Pittman is into the backfield to find pass receiver out of the backfield. Cutler looking short. And Stokely, did he catch it? Yes, he did.
Yeah, great throw.
Boy, he put that where only his guy was going to catch it, and Stokely goes down and catch it. Boy, really excellent job in the slot, as Stokely has shown. But I tell you, this started with the fact that Jay Cutler, look at all the time he has. You give a quarterback this much time, he's going to find an open man. He's able to step in the throw and whip it. He gets it a little low here. What a great job by Stokely. Gets his arms underneath it. That's a good catch.
And a 10-year veteran knows how to sell it to the official also, making sure he saw I caught that ball cleanly. 13-yard gain on 3rd and 9. Andre Hall now in behind Cutler, and that's Hall. Off the baseball dirt in the short game. Raiders, one of 3 teams left in the NFL that share their stadium with baseball. The Miami Dolphins and Minnesota Vikings, the others.
And it's a big test. And Oakland was 2nd worst in the league last year at it. So you get run on, you start to wear out, you see hands on hips, and early in the game, they got to stop this.
There's no fun at all looking at those Monday movies when you're on the D-line and they ran the ball down your throat.
Cutler didn't like something that he saw. He'll call his first time out. And so the Broncos and the Raiders are underway, and we'll be right back at Oakland right after this. The opening offensive drive for the Denver Broncos. And here's Cutler. Looking for his man and overthrowing.
Now that ball was tipped, Mike.
Eddie Royal. Perhaps tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Royal will get a heaping helping of him tonight as they're playing without Brandon Marshall, who caught a greater percentage of his team's balls last year, 31%, than any receiver in the National Football League. He's suspended 1 game tonight, Mike, for violating the league's personal conduct policy.
It's been ridiculous how much Jay Cutler has a great rapport with him. You look at those receptions. Already tonight, we've seen a couple balls go to Royal, one to Stokely, an attempt to Nate Jackson. So Jay Cutler is going to have to find someone else, at least for this game, until he gets Marshall back.
Another 3rd down situation for Cutler, 3rd and 6. On the run, he likes to move around back there. He's got a man wide open in the end zone, and it's a touchdown to Eddie Royal. Just like that, the Broncos strike first. A nice job by Royal of getting his feet down in the corner.
It's a nice job by Royal. It's a poor job by the corner right there. He left the coverage, broke the coverage, and why he broke the coverage. Stokely was in the middle of the field and hooked up. He was looking at Stokely to catch the ball. He started up on him, and right then, a great job by Cutler to find the open receiver.
The safety ended up coming across as Jabril Wilson, who comes over from the Giants. Ends up there had to be a miscommunication there, Coach. There's no way a receiver is going to be that far behind the defensive backfield.
No, I thought what happened, he froze, he looked at Stokely, he started moving that way, and then he came back too late.
26 yards on the touchdown from Jay Cutler to Eddie Royal. Extra point is up, and it is good. And so the Broncos season could not start any better. An efficient drive. They go right down the field. And with just over 5 minutes gone in their season opener, the Broncos lead the Raiders 7-0. In Oakland tonight, Jay Cutler leads them on a 10-play drive, 76 yards, and clearly the star of the show already is the rookie Eddie Royal with a 26-yard touchdown, had 2 rushes and 2 catches on the drive for 51 total yards. And so now we'll get our first look at the Oakland offense. Johnny Lee Higgins is deep on the return. Higgins, he's got a hole. Oh, and here he comes. He's over midfield, out over the 40, and that's a terrific start for the Raiders to get their crowd back into it after a demoralizing opening defensive drive.
It really is.
He didn't get touched. Let me tell you what, great run by him, but when you don't get touched, that means there is some excellent blocking. Look at the hole open up, staying on your blocks.
There were a couple blocks, there were a couple holes in there, but they weren't called, so it doesn't matter.
Champ Bailey out there on the kickoff, and he did not have very good positioning there for the tackle.
58 yards on the return for Eddie Lee Higgins, who gets the crowd, Johnny Lee Higgins, excuse me, who gets the crowd fired up. And so here it is, Jamarcus Russell on the field.
Why not?
And the give is to Darren McFadden immediately.
Why not?
And we had expected Justin Fargas to start the ball game at running back, who had a very nice second half of his season. But here he is, Darren McFadden in his first NFL action. They give him the ball right off the bat.
I tell you, this has got to be their recipe for success. They've got to pound that rock. They got to go back to the old type of Raider football, and I think that's what they'll do. Starting
last year, the Raiders went to the zone blocking scheme that the Denver Broncos do. So basically, they're running the same running system that Denver has had so much success with over the years.
Quick carry for McFadden, and then he's off the field, and Fargas is back in, and they'll give it to Fargas this time on second and short. And he is out there and looks like he is just short of a first down. Jamie Winborn on the tackle, and so Jamarcus Russell, who, gentlemen, he started one game last year, got a chance to play in 4, but the holdout until September 12th. In some ways, you could almost say this is a rookie season for Russell.
Well, it really is, and that's a mistake. I really don't understand why an agent would hold a player out, but they do it. I think what he did is he really retarded this kid's advancement as a quarterback in the NFL. Last year would have been a pretty good year for him. He would have learned, and now it's all learning this year.
3rd and inches for the Raiders. That's Fargas, and Fargas has it and much, much more. A first down, a big block by Justin Griffith, and Justin will introduce you now to his offensive mates.
I'm running back Justin Fargas, and this is our starting lineup. At quarterback, running the show, we have number 2, a slim and trim, Jamarcus Russell. Throwing the ball deep all night to number 89, Ronald Curry. We'll be running the ball off the right side behind big Cornell Cornbread Green.
Slim and trim, Jamarcus Russell listed at 260. And you notice no Javon Walker there. He is a scratch tonight with an injured hamstring. There's Fargas on the right side, and a nice game. Raiders want to run the football. They told us
they can run.
They want to run the ball.
They can run it, and they're going to run it.
They absolutely are going to run the ball. This is what, and Coach, I believe exactly what you said in the beginning of this broadcast is let Jamarcus Russell learn by handing the ball off to his backs. This offensive line really needs to redeem itself over the last couple of years and let them do the work. Nice play to the outside. Doesn't even get touched till the second level, but this is you couldn't script this beginning better for Jamarcus Russell right now.
And Denver had a horrible record versus the rush last year, and they don't look any better to me.
They were 30th in the league last year against the run.
And there are 32 teams. Second down, Fargas right into the line, and he's got nothing there. Let's meet the Denver defense. Here's Elvis Dumerville.
One of the big moves on defense this year is DJ Williams going back from the middle, going back to outside linebacker.
And the addition of Dwayne Robertson, he said Roberson. But Robertson, of course, coming over from the Jets. On a third down, here's Fargas looking for the corner. And where are they going to put him?
He's just a little bit short.
Just short. Marlon McCree came flying up from his free safety position to make the tackle.
He made the first time.
He made anything? Oh, this is our first disagreement, Coach?
Yeah, he made it.
In any disagreement, I'm on Ditka's side.
Well, I'm not always right, but I'm never wrong.
I love the yellow line, though. Looks like the tip of the ball is just touching the yellow line.
What's that mean?
Well,
if it's touching, it means he made it.
See, I'm going to say he didn't, though. So this is it. We're
not going to argue.
Oh, no. We'll just agree to disagree.
Because here's what I'd like to talk about. If they didn't make it, would you go for it? Because I would.
Down 7-0 early. He is just short.
Oh, my goodness.
You're down. Coach, you're down 7-0. You put the points on the board. It looks like they're going to go for it.
Here comes Darren McFadden onto the field. I don't see anything that looks like Sebastian Janikowski.
And I don't hand it off to anybody either. I let that big guy that slimmed down carry it.
Yeah, because they say 260. Let me just say he's not 260. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I was down on the field talking with him before the game. He's a monster, but he is a good-looking athlete at 200 and whatever he is.
You realize it's bigger than linemen when I played?
He's bigger than the two starting.
Bigger than all the linemen when I played.
He's bigger than the two starting defensive ends, Engelberger and Elvis Dumervil for the Broncos.
Let's see if he keeps it himself here on a 4th and inches. It looks to me like he's got it certainly on the second effort. Ball comes loose. Now, had they blown it dead, Raiders fell on it either way. But it looks like Oakland's going to have a first down. It's just a question of whether they blew him dead just inside the 10 or if they take it down closer to the 5.
Let me ask you something, Coach. Did you have to teach your quarterbacks to do a quarterback sneak? Because he's 6'6", and that did not start out pretty. It ended well because he extended his body, but it didn't start out well.
No,
is there a technique to this?
He's too big. I'd bring in another guy to do it. That guy's too tall to do a quarterback sneak. He went over top the center instead of behind him.
Look at, he kind of scrunched up in the beginning. And then watch, once he straightens out right here, he kind of pushes backward. That's when he straightens his body out and gets the first down.
Gutsy early decision. Darren McFadden on the field. 1st and goal for the Raiders on their opening drive of the 2008 season. And there's McFadden. And he is drilled. 8 offensive plays, and Jamarcus Russell has yet to throw a pass. Jamie Winborn on the 10.
Great cutback, but he cut right back into all the problems.
Wow.
Cut right back into all the problems, and he takes a shot here. I tell you, you got to love this kiddo. This kid is going to make a lot of plays. Right there, watch it. Bang.
Oh. That's
that
2. Nate
good
Webster
defense.
and Jamie Winborn both said hello to the rookie, didn't they?
I don't think that'll intimidate him too much.
McFadden still in the red zone, and 2 tight ends, Zach Miller and John Manson, are in. 2nd and goal. Not this time. Russell, his first pass. Had a man. Miller wants a flag. Not going to get one.
No, he got away. It was holding. Without a doubt, it was holding. No doubt by Marquand Manuel. He had Jersey. I'm somewhat shocked the ref didn't see this one. When you see Jersey getting pulled away from the body, normally you're going to get a flag.
Take another look at it.
Right here.
Oh, yeah, he's got him there.
Yeah. Got him good.
Got him.
One way or another, not called, and so here we go on a 3rd and goal.
If he wasn't held, I think he would have, the ball would have,
Maybe.
Keep an eye there on Elvis Dumervil on a 3rd and goal. Russell, and he is drilled. The ball is free, and it looks like the Raiders fell on it. Looked like Cornell Green, but now the Broncos think they have it, and they do.
They do.
The Broncos come away on an early turnover, well within field goal range. Elvis Dumervil knocked it away. Looked like he might have been offsides. Take another look at this one when we continue.
I'm real happy with the call. I mean, I think in that situation, you got a great running game. Stay with the running game. Let's not go crazy.
Raiders go crazy. Broncos get the ball. Play in the first quarter, and the Broncos have an early 7-0 lead on the Raiders when they have the ball back after Jamarcus Russell just had it slip out of his hands. Andre Hall in at running back now for the Broncos on a 1st and 10. And there's Hall. And that's the Denver running game we're accustomed to seeing. But here's another look at that one, Golic. Look at the ball just slip out of Russell's hands.
See what happened? Here comes Dumervil right up here. And all Jamarcus is going to do is lob it right over Dumervil to McFadden. Dumervil's 5'11", Jamarcus is 6'6". It would have been an easy lob, but it just slipped out of his hand. And I was going to say, when I talked to Jamarcus and watched him before the game, the football looked like a Nerf ball in his hand. His hands are so big, but as you see, it didn't matter there. Slipped right out as Dumervil was hunting him down. But it really would have been an easy little dump off to McFadden.
Maybe some butterflies.
Well, they got no passing yardage. You know, they got to throw the ball some way effectively. And I don't care if that means you go to the tight end, you go to your slants, you go to your stops. They've got to throw the ball.
Andre Hall, meanwhile, picks up the first down for Denver, and that's that north-south zone blocking running game we've been seeing from the Broncos for 14 years.
And that's all it is. Again, the backs get one read, basically. That's what they're told. The offensive line, they're going to step in unison. Zone blocking is basically like a dance step with the 5 linemen. And as they step, if somebody's in their zone, they block them. It's very simple the way it's drawn up. The back gets the ball and is supposed to make one cut and then head north and south and get whatever you can get.
They do it as well as anybody in football.
Cutler got a man open in the slot. That's Eddie Royal, and Eddie Royal has been busy. And Jay Cutler, it's good to see him back and looking healthy. Most people by now know the story. Jay Cutler lost over 30 pounds late in the season last year and wasn't sure why. Had a lot of trouble with fatigue. Was diagnosed with diabetes in April and is now feeling a lot better, has it under control. Put all the weight back on.
I'll tell you one thing, it didn't affect his accuracy. He is really throwing that ball well.
But it has changed his lifestyle. I mean, he's type 1 diabetic. He has to take the insulin shots.
Got to be careful.
So, I mean, it has really changed the lifestyle once they figured it out. And he's back to the playing weight he's been used to playing at. But there have definitely been some changes in his life.
Swinging it on the outside. And that one is complete out there for Nate Jackson.
A little more trickery. It's a little college screen.
You know, and it took a little bit for them to figure out what was wrong with Jay, and he went through the fatigue and the weight loss, and just it wasn't diagnosed. It took a few months to get diagnosed, and he's certainly not the only professional athlete in different sports to have diabetes. And again, you have to learn to deal with it, whether it's insulin before a game, sometimes during a game, changes your diet. But boy, once they figured it out and he got squared away with his diet and his insulin, he has been feeling great.
Here's a big play on a 3rd and short out near the 40-yard line. They'll give it to Michael Pittman. And Michael Pittman is wrapped up, and the Raider defense comes up with a big stop.
That's a huge stop, and I tell you what, a needed stop, because Oakland took it right down the field, go to a couple passes, and turn the ball over. So you don't want this game to get away early and let Denver really start controlling the ball. Big time stop for, again, a defense that was awful against the run last year. Rob Ryan, their defensive coordinator, told me, he said, to stop this zone blocking run by the Denver Broncos, we have to make penetration, try and push the lineman back to make that running back go a little east and west. Here they go.
Boy, does he have it? Closer than it looked. And
boy,
I didn't give him the first down.
Yeah. Wow.
Let's take another look at that, because the official there clearly put up 4 fingers. Here's Pittman.
Oh, no, he didn't make it.
Boy,
his knees were down at the line of scrimmage.
That's a very generous spot.
Very good mark right there.
Now, the yellow line, bear in mind, is not on the field. The officials don't see that. But
it's not the yellow line. It's where his knees go down. It's
clearly
got nothing to do with anything else. His knees were down. The ball went down.
Well, where the ball was when his knees were down, the ball did not look to be at the yellow line. I agree with you.
Either way, it's a first down for the Broncos. And so here's Cutler as we get down near the 1-minute mark in a very quick first quarter.
Well, they're calling for.
Now, are they going to challenge that? You can challenge the spot.
Well, they called the time.
Did Lane Kiffin call a timeout? Or did he challenge it? I think he's challenging the spot, and I think it's a good decision.
I think you got to do it. You got to do it. I mean, if the rule is your knee is down, you're down.
All right, let's see
watch where his knee goes down. Right here.
Right when his
knee is down right there.
No
he
way.
is not to the yellow marker.
Not even close. They'll take another look. We'll come back with the decision. Will the Broncos keep the ball? We'll find out right after this. Lane Kiffin has challenged this spot on what was deemed a first down for the Denver Broncos, and I think all 3 of us think his challenge should be upheld and the call should be overturned.
Well, I feel that way. I mean, if I know anything about football, which there's a lot of debate about that also.
That's what it is. Watch where when his knee is down, that's where the ball should be placed.
Right? Doing the play. The
right here.
Is down with the ball just inside the 38-yard line. It is not a first down. Fourth down. Oakland will not be charged.
That's the right call. There's no question it's the right call. Bill Levy saw it. The knee is down and the ball is clearly at the 38-yard line. He needed to get to the 39 for the first down. No matter how inexact the yellow line may be, he's clearly a yard short.
That has to be the coaches in the booth, because I'm sure they're the ones up there seeing it. They're the ones up there seeing the replay saying, you got to challenge it.
They're going to go for it.
As of this moment, Matt Kern, the punter, is not on the field. Now we'll see if they actually snap the ball here inside their own 40, or they just try to draw an eager defense offside and then punt it away. Selvin Young and Peyton Hillis are in the backfield.
No, they're just going to try and get the jump.
Snap it.
Oh, it's the oldest trick in the book.
Maybe it's too old.
Oldest trick in the book.
No need to call.
You cannot fool those wily Raiders.
Let me tell you what, if one of the Raiders jumped, you might as well just ran out of the locker room with that.
You would like to run on and kick him, huh?
5-yard penalty. Fourth down.
Boy, great play all the way around. Great challenge. Great check. Great.
You got it. And then again, Mike, you hit it. Somebody up in the booth had to see that. We saw it, so they had to see the same thing we saw.
So Brett Kern will punt it away to Johnny Lee Higgins, who had the big return on the opening kickoff, or the first kickoff the Raiders got back. And the Raiders will get the ball back inside of 1 minute to play here in the first quarter. Taking their time. Here we go.
Going after him.
He gets it away. And here comes Higgins. He's got a block and he's got a hold.
Oh my. He doesn't care.
Another nice return, but there is a flag down.
They're calling the hit in the back. Going to be Chris Johnson, number 37. Now, there were two refs standing there, and they didn't throw it. It was a ref on the other side of the field that hoisted the flag in.
Spencer Larson made the tackle.
Return. Illegal block in the back. Number 37, receiving team. 10-yard penalties from the spot of the foul. First down.
That was odd, because I was watching Johnson run down, and I saw the two referees down there not throw the flag, and then the one on the far side. Here he is right there. He's little pushing and pulled his hands up. Not me.
Penalty negating a 19-yard return, and so now the Raiders take over on a 1st and 10 inside their own 20. And here's Justin Fargas on what should be the last play of the first quarter. John Engelberger makes the tackle. And so we've played one here in Oakland. Jamarcus Russell yet to complete a pass.
I would think they're keeping it pretty simple for him, Mike. What do you think?
I don't think there's any doubt about it that they want to keep this thing a little simple right now, but he's going to have to open it up sooner or later, it seems.
Broncos and Raiders back with the second quarter in just a moment. Start of the second quarter. Raiders by a score of 7-0. They have certainly spoon-fed Jamarcus Russell early, as he has attempted just one pass to this point and has yet to complete one on a 2nd and 9. Here's his second attempt. And they'll dump it off this time, and there's McFadden and a first down. And you said it, Coach, that's a young quarterback's best friend.
Well, you got to take what's underneath. I'm surprised he hasn't gone to the tight end at all. But he just got a little drop-off pass here to Darren McFadden, and you know what is this, run after catch? That's a pretty good deal when you put the ball in the hands of somebody like McFadden.
4th pick in the draft this past year, and he had a good preseason for what that's worth. 34 carries, averaged 5.4 yards a carry in the preseason. Now he's off the field, and Justin Fargas is back on a first down. And here's Fargas.
This kid's a good runner. I mean, there was no hole there. It's a good job by the Denver defense. He's a good runner.
He is. He got his chance. He's a guy that's been around for, a little while, a 6th year in the league, and never really had the opportunity to run the ball a ton. Last year he does, getting 7 starts late in the season, and he really makes the most of his situation. And in the NFL of today, it's two backs. And so you have Fargas and you have McFadden. It's kind of fitting right into the mold of the NFL right now.
He averaged 5.2, and he went over 1,000 yards last year, as a backup running back.
All right, guys, they're in the backfield together now, Fargas and McFadden. McFadden is at quarterback. Mike Shanahan told us he expected to see this. McFadden did a lot of that in college, and he'll give it to Fargas. I like that play as he comes up just short right there. Yeah.
You know what we call that? Options. They're giving themselves some options, because obviously he's got a running back who he can hand it off to. I doubt he's going to throw the ball at this point, and I'm sure everybody on the defense thought he was going to pull that ball out and keep it. Dumerville was ready for that. Fargas, a nice hole up the middle. Williams comes off to make the play, but nice gain. Nice play calling. Good way to mix it up.
Well, this type of offense just gives those defensive coordinators one more thing to work on, believe me.
McFadden did actually throw the football, you'll recall, in college at Arkansas. Just an enormous college career. The only man ever to be the Heisman Trophy runner-up twice. And they're going to measure again here and see if he picked up the first down. Not even close. So they'll show them what they need. 3rd and that much for the first down. Give it to Fargas North-South, Coach?
Either him or don't hand it off at all. I mean, I don't use taking chances when you don't have to. They need to control the clock, get the ball down, and put some points in it.
Key thing here, don't get fancy. Don't try and get too
it past midfield, you can open it up a little bit.
All right, crowd's getting into it on a 3rd and short. Almost exactly the same spot the Broncos came up just short on their first down try just a few minutes ago. Fargus in the backfield. Not going to give it to him. Russell. Oh, he's got a man wide. Oh, man! Ronald Curry was there. The ball perhaps not thrown perfectly, Coach, but that's a ball he's got to catch.
That ball. You got to catch that football at all costs. I don't care how pretty, how bad you look. You got both hands on the football. You got to come down with it. No, you're right. It wasn't the best throw in the world. That's why you're paid. If they were all perfect throws, that's pretty good.
This is the most reliable receiver they have on the team. He's not the greatest, but the most reliable. And also, this is a way for a vet to help out your young quarterback. He's got to make that catch.
And that was a great call. That was a gutty call on 3rd down. You know, you hadn't completed a pass in the football game, and to make that call.
Shane Leckler with the punt. Will they get it down?
Yeah.
And indeed they do.
No.
Great play by that Raider defense,
No.
Tyvon Branch, but are they calling him in the end zone? Back in a moment in Oakland. Stepped on the line before he batted it back into play, and it was awfully close. Replays we saw clearly not conclusive. They wouldn't have been able to overturn it, so they don't challenge. So 1st and 10 Broncos from their own 20 with Selvin Young in the backfield. Sharing time tonight with Andre Hall. Cutler seeing it outside. And that's his fullback, Peyton Hillis.
And I talked earlier about Jay Cutler and talking to him that confidence that he has. He just looks so comfortable in the pocket, could play fake plenty of time. That certainly helps. Got nice got nice speed on the ball. Look here, when he gets out of the pocket, gang, bad things are going to happen for your defense. Over the last 2 years, he has the highest passer rating outside the pocket. So when he gets on the move, he is deadly. And you see his numbers tonight are pretty darn good. A lot going to the rookie, Eddie Royal, who he really likes.
2nd down. And again, he's on the roll. And again, he's throwing it the other way, and he's wide open.
Great throw.
That's a terrific play out there to his tight end, Tony Scheffler. Breaks another tackle, and he's down inside the 5.
Great call. Now, that is a rollout, but it's a misdirection rollout where the tight end splits the seam, and it's unbelievable. It's a great call, great design play by a pretty good football coach in Mike Shan. Watch with it. He has all the flow going one way, and watch, Scheffler just breaks it up the middle. Everything, he expects everything to go back to the right, and it goes right up the middle, and great throw.
72 yards on the play.
You know, normally when a quarterback rolls out, he really goes to that side of the field. You're expecting the ball to go. Cutler has the ability to come back the other way as Scheffler's going down, the other side of the field, and a great job of getting the ball back to him.
And the defense is taught to flow toward the
exactly
roll.
Right.
That's what happens.
And Cutler sees something he doesn't like. Broncos are going to have to use another timeout.
That's their second charge.
There is no quarterback in the NFL who throws the ball better on the run than Jay Cutler, and he just showed you that with a big completion, 72 yards to his tight end, Tony Scheffler, setting the Broncos up on a 1st and goal. Michael Pittman in the backfield behind Peyton Hillis. Flags are down. Cutler with all the time in the world throws in the back of the end zone. That's a touchdown to Eddie Royal, but will it stand up? Flags flew early, and it looks like we're going to have a procedure call.
But what you can't stop playing. You got to play through the
Widest receiver on the left side of the formation was off the line. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Boy, did he have a lot of time to throw the football either way.
Not only that, but Mike, you can't quit. The defense quit. I mean, the play's not over till it's over.
I tell you, at this point, they're not going to have to wash Cutler's jersey.
No.
There's nobody near him.
Where's Howie Long when you need him?
Here's another look at that formation. Eddie Royal needs to be up on the line of scrimmage. And obviously you can see he's just back off it. So they'll move them back 5. And we'll do 1st down again. Runner to throw it, Coach.
Well, I mean, right now I think Mike's done a great job of calling plays. I mean, he's got him completely confused. I mean, you would think he was going to run the football here, but I don't think so.
Stokely, the man in motion. He's going to throw it again.
Right there. No, he's going to run
this
it
time
now.
a little pressure.
Nope, touchdown.
Into the end zone, and he's got his man. No, he dropped it incomplete as the ball comes in just a little low. And that's Scheffler again, the 3rd-year tight end out of Western Michigan. couldn't come up with it. It'll be second down.
Well, out of the pocket, well, he said when he was at Vanderbilt that the protection struggled at times, so he got really used to throwing on the run, and he said that's really helped him in the NFL.
Pittman in the backfield on second down. They'll give it to him. And he won't get much, and that'll set up a 3rd and long. Tommy Kelly in on the tackle.
Tommy Kelly, their big money guy was playing some end. He got some big cash and got told he's going to play down at the defensive tackle position, a big guy. Rob Ryan, the D coordinator, said he's going to be the 2-gapper. And the 2-gapper is that guy who plays straight up over the lineman. And basically, just what it says, he's responsible for the gap on either side of him. What they really want is him to take that guy in front of him, push him into the backfield, and defeat the guy either way and make that running back go east and west.
Big play early here. Broncos looking to go up 2 touchdowns on a 3rd and goal. Cutler looking left all the way. Oh, and just missing Brandon Stokely. Looked like he had a chance there. And
he wanted
threw it out of his
Stokely.
reach.
That was his man from the time they came out of the huddle. Watch, he looks at him all the way, and he almost gets it in there. It's a tough throw. He knows where he's going. Right here, watch. Stokely breaks it out. Just a little bit off target here.
Had a chance that ball is down a little lower.
Be touchdown. That's a big stop for the Raiders.
Sure
right
is.
Big stop, really. This thing could get out of hand in a hurry.
Matt Prater is on now to attempt a 26-yard field goal. Just under 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. It's up, it's good, and it's 10-0 in favor of the Broncos.
And while it's 10-0, I guarantee you Tony Scheffler is on the sideline saying, gang, my fault. Should be 14-0. I got to make that play. NFC, and while the AFC was a little upside down, the NFC, they had 2 of those 2 teams.
Here's Johnny Lee Higgins, who's had 2 good returns in the ball game and will not get a chance.
Especially the greater part of Vela right there.
You remember some of those Eagle-Cowboy games, Mike, from your playing days?
Boy, I really do. You know what? Because there was no love lost with us and the Cowboys. No doubt about that.
Well, when I was with the Cowboys years, the big rivalry was the Redskins, but also it was the Eagles. I think it depended on who was a better team at that time, because everybody hated the Cowboys.
And so Jamarcus Russell on a 1st and 10 from his own 20 with Justin Fargas in the backfield. And they'll fake it to him. Russell with some time, and now he's going to run, and they take him down. Wondered how easy it'd be to go down. DJ Williams takes him down, Mike.
Here's where the young quarterback has to learn. He had all day to throw it. DJ Williams comes in, throw the ball away.
Ball's got to come out.
Get rid of the ball. You don't want to take a sack that out. Look, good misdirection. And they're doing that obviously on purpose because it buys him a little extra time. He's got plenty of time. Okay, here comes the rush. Get away, dump the ball. Get rid of the ball. Get it past the line of scrimmage. Don't get a intentional grounding. But this is where the young quarterback is going to have to learn.
Instead, the very negative play setting up the 2nd and 19. Back too close to their own goal line, but they'll throw it, and they do, and over the middle. Little safe pass. And it is complete out there for Ashley Lilly, whom they just signed this week, and they need Lilly to play tonight because Javon Walker, again, is not active tonight with a hamstring injury.
That's the first completion, and what they did is they stuck Lilly in the slot, and got the ball to him. But they're going to have to open it up a little bit. I mean, it's you're just not going to be able to set in there in the I formation, run the football, and do play action.
Yeah, because 2nd and 19, Denver will give Lilly that catch all day long. Yeah.
Here's an interesting play for the young quarterback on a 3rd and 12, deep in his own territory in a game in which they're already down 2 scores.
Now you see him coming up like they were going to blitz, and he went in and changed the call.
Needs to be aware of the clock, and now his team is moving, and that just did not look good from the very beginning.
Well, smart move by the defense. Move around.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
You saw a couple of DBs move up, and then Jamarcus went to the line, changed the play, and everybody's moving around. Now it takes too long, and then your tackle moves.
So what you got to put him in a play that really that if the blitz is not going to bother. He's going to have to get rid of the ball to a hot receiver. They probably aren't going to make the 1st down, but at least you protect him. Right now it looks like he's worried about a lot of things.
Perhaps with good reason in that situation. So here we go now on a 3rd and 17. And they'll give it to McFadden on a safe call. He can make something happen, but not a whole lot there. As Hamza Abdullah is one of those in on the tackle, and You like that call, Coach? Deep in his own territory?
I would have liked that call a little better on second down. Now, I mean, really, I understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
You can't let the game get away from you. 10-0. It's not out of sight yet.
You don't want to put too much on him on that throw there, Greeny, or maybe you get another turnover and be horrible field position for you. So get on the sideline, regroup a little bit, let him take a breath, get the defense out there to make a stand, and try and come back the next time.
But eventually he's got to straighten up the bootstraps and play football. I mean, he's got to do a better job. I mean, he's the #1 draft pick, great athlete.
Eddie Royal on the return makes a couple of guys miss. Out over the 40, and a nice return for the Broncos, who have excellent field position. And Jay Cutler can come in and try and put some distance between himself and the Raiders halfway through the second quarter.
Going to shape the landscape a little bit in college football.
That could be a Mini Cooper running into a locomotive, too.
We shall see. 1st and 10 for Jay Cutler and the Broncos outside their 40. Good field position. And here's Selvin Young moving the pile a little bit. And, you know, they've been trying to replace John Elway in Denver for an awful long time after Elway retired on the heels of his second consent. Found a guy, and that guy may have arrived at a place where they're ready to get it going again.
Jay Cutler seems so at ease with his job now. Mike Shanahan, again, said he has the intangibles, that it factor. Very, very comfortable out there. He looks the part.
He's got a big arm, man. He got a big arm.
We'll show you some
Big
of that arm here.
right there.
Flings it inside to Eddie Royal, who's been his favorite receiver tonight. And Royal, the rookie from Virginia Tech, his 4th catch on the night.
I tell you what, you know what I'm starting to think about, guys? Next game, Brandon Marshall comes back. Him on one side, Eddie Royal on the other side. You may not get that disparity in receptions you did last year. Royal, and again, both Mike Shanahan and Jay Cutler talked about Royal. Nice gun. I mean, he put the ball right there. Great catch with the hands. You young kids out there, you catch the ball with your hands, just like he did it.
Well, you know, Marshall was his security blanket, and he doesn't have him. I love what he's doing. He's spreading that football around. Now, he's kind of fallen in love with Eddie Royal, and I don't blame him, because this guy can not only catch the football, but he can get yards after the catch.
Also likes his tight end, Tony Scheffler, who had the big play earlier and then the big drop.
You know, Royal's not the biggest guy on the roll. 5'10", listed at $182. You know, had some nicks going on at times, but he certainly can stretch the field. Got good quicks off the ball.
Boy, that's a great route.
Boy, that really is. And that's, you know, that's on Asamoah out there. Nnamdi Asamoah, who I'll tell you is, many people think highly underrated, really is one of the better cornerbacks in this league.
3rd and short. Hillis and Pittman in the backfield. That's Royal in motion. And they're going to fling it out to Royal, and he's got it, and that's a great call.
Great call.
And a tackle out of bounds on
Another
D'Angelo
15.
Hall, and there goes the flag, and that's going to be 15 more yards, and that is a mistake the Raiders did not need in that
Well,
moment.
that is stupid is as stupid does.
You know, and you
Okay.
you know, what more am I going to say?
And
What
it
else you
looked
gonna
like
say?
He tried to hold him up. Did you see? He
No,
looked
did
as though
not
he
try to hold
realized.
him up. He tried to throw him down, and you know, it just doesn't. The guy's going out of bounds. I mean, he beat you.
Personal foul. Number 23 of the defense. Late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
He grabs it, he starts to twirl him, and then says, okay, well,
holding him.
I'm really trying to, he never should have, Greeny, he never should have spun and twirled him. Never should have done that. You know what? They're going to go safety first. You're that far out of bounds. I don't blame him for that call. You don't even spin him. It's a dumb move out of D'Angelo Hall. Again, coming over from Atlanta, and he's a high-strung guy. We've seen him have some issues on the field.
Player.
He absolutely is it. Absolutely is a good football player. He's a good tandem of corners here.
You get that kind of a play out of your system, and good things will happen for you.
Here's Andre Hall trying the left side and not finding a whole lot there. And this becomes a very big possession now for the Oakland defense. Need to hold them to 3 points. Fall behind 17-0 here in the second quarter with your young quarterback there could be a very difficult time to get back.
There's no question about it. They've got to hold him here. They can't let him get 7 on the board.
Yeah, Rob Ryan again. You know, that defense against the run was really bad last year. That play looked good. He wants him to knock those offensive linemen back. But to Denver's credit right now, I think they're mixing up the plays so well that keeps the defense on their heels.
Great play calling. It really is. They're completely off balance.
Andre Hall in the backfield, but Cutler's going to throw it.
Double move.
Likes to run, and the man is there. What a perfect throw to Eddie Royal. over the outstretched fingers of the linebacker.
Well, what you got to see here, he runs an out, an up, and then an out. Just a great route. Watch this route.
Wow.
This is a rookie.
Over the fingers of Ricky Brown, and now
Watch what he does. He takes it up the field, then he breaks her up, makes himself out. Now back out, then back out. Pretty good. Pretty good route.
And guys, they've just called another personal foul on D'Angelo Hall.
Again, now Royal, when he's on the ground, is not down, but they called, as you heard the referee say, punishing the runner. You can go up and just touch the runner to down, but D'Angelo Hall, you know, threw a shoulder into him and drove him into the ground. That's two bad plays out of Hall. And again, that's a safety issue. When a guy's down, now he's not down. He could get up and run because nobody's touched him, but they'll say he's defenseless, and it's a punishing move, as the referee said, and there really isn't a need to do that.
And you understand why he did it, but he could have came up and just touched him down.
Absolutely.
6 catches, 81 yards, and a touchdown for Eddie Royal. What a debut for the rookie. Meanwhile, Cutler's going to give it this time to Andre Hall. Excuse me, Michael Pittman. That's Pittman who takes it inside the 5, and it'll be 2nd and goal from there.
I'm sorry, I have to chuckle a little bit. Corey Lichtensteiger, the rookie lineman at 6'3", 295.
Mike Shanahan's pulled out tonight because he's done a little bit of everything, and I guarantee you that defense is off balance.
Pittman once again in the backfield. They'll give it to him. Oh, and he's in for the touchdown. And the Denver Broncos are opening it up. It is 16-0 on the road. Pittman right up the middle, pretty much untouched.
I tell you, I want to make a positive comment. I've never seen more fans wear more NFL paraphernalia in my life than I do in this stadium. He's got to be the greatest fans in the world, putting up with this so far.
Chris Cooper out there with a big block. A very impressive early performance by this Denver offense. They've mixed it up. They've shown you pretty much everything they have in their playbook.
They've been fantastic, but we know what that means on the other side, guys, that they're going to have to open it up some with Jamarcus Russell.
Matt Prater's extra point is up and good, and the Denver Broncos with an extremely fast start. 4 minutes and change to play before halftime. Welcome to the NFL, Eddie Royal. You're having a terrific night, and the Broncos are up 17-0. Which culminated in a Michael Pittman 3-yard touchdown run. And so the Broncos have the early 17-0 lead. And the Raiders need to get something on the board here before halftime. Here's Johnny Lee Higgins deep. And they'll get a chance to bring this one out. Ooh, and this one is not going to get out there, just over the 15.
Johnny Lee Higgins on the kickoff return.
It's a pretty good last. Watch Eddie Royal. Late, it's another penalty. I don't know if they were penalties, but they were called.
One way or another, the Broncos take the 17-0 lead, and now inside his own 20. Here's Jamarcus Russell with an empty backfield and a whole bunch of trouble. And here he comes. And he's going to throw it deep. And he's got a man in just over the outstretched fingertips of Ronald Curry, who had one in his hands he could have caught earlier. And
he could have ran from here to Modesto. There was nobody on this side of the field.
He really did. You know, Jamie Winborn was trying to get him in, but he tries to loft it up there. We know he can heave it a ton. And he does there just outside the fingers of Ronald Curry. But I agree with you, Coach. Take your opportunities now. You know, right now I think he just wants to complete a pass.
I do, too.
I think he didn't even look down the field to see that there was nothing but grass. Winborn came in, lost contain, and Jamarcus had a lot of room.
Say this, though, he had the man open, and he did just missed him on what would have been a very nice throw on a dead run. There was Nate Webster out there trying to keep up with the receiver Curry, but it's 2nd and 10. And here's Russell, and he's over the middle, and he's got his man this time, and a nice throw as he zips it in to the rookie Chaz Schillens.
Very good throw. And I tell you what, he's not getting a whole lot of time to throw back there. That pocket is collapsing pretty quickly.
19 yards on the reception. They certainly have plenty of time if they want to mix it up offensively here. They can run it. But let Russell get out there and show you what he can do.
Well, you know, you work on a 2-minute package, although it's not the 2 minutes, but, you know, you're in pretty dire need right now. You're down 17-0.
Mixing it up a little bit. That's Curry in motion. And this time they will give it to Fargas, and he's got a lot on the left side. Submarined at the end of the play by Marlon McCree, but a nice gain and another first down for the Raiders.
Great block by Zach Miller for 80, the tight end on the outside, just sealing off the outside end man on the line.
See how he climbs up to the next level.
Right,
Great job.
Great job. Shuffling your feet, keeping your hands inside, and steering the guy like a car. That's just how you're taught to do it. Great feet, gave his running back the corner.
13 yards for Fargas on the play, and so the Raiders have something going as we get inside 3 minutes in the first half.
Great block by Miller, by the way. He might be a guy you want to get involved in the passing offense, too.
He was his favorite receiver last year in the game that he started. He threw the ball to him 10 times.
First and 10, and here comes on the reverse. Oh, and that's Higgins, who can't hang on. And now he's got a whole lot of trouble, and he's just going to go out of bounds and lose a whole lot of yards. Marquand Manuel there to bump Higgins out of bounds.
You know, that's unfortunate. You know, they had a pretty good play call. The execution didn't work. So it looks, you know, you wonder as a head coach, poor why'd I call? Well, no, it just, you know, Fargas threw the ball. It wasn't a good lateral. Exchange ball, hand it to him. Don't throw it at him.
Boy, they don't just have 2 or 3 yard losses, do they tonight? When they make a mistake, it costs them.
A loss of 15. Now, those are terrific plays when they work.
Yeah, you know, and when they don't work, you look, well, why did the coach call that? But it was really set up well.
Yep.
I mean, and I know when they worked on that, they didn't work on Fargas throwing the ball at him. They had worked at handing it to him.
And the Raiders will have to use a timeout as the play clock many years and a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
And really, on one of the greatest offensive lines that ever played in this league. I mean, they had a great offensive line on a great team, and Gene was a great football player and did great things for the Players Association and getting equality and the rights of players with owners. Believe me, he did a great job.
Second and forever for the Raiders, and they'll fling it out there and pick up a little bit of it on the completion again to the rookie Chaz Schillens, but that'll set up, after the 2-minute warning, a 3rd and long for the Raiders. Oh, they call a timeout? No, they don't, so we will get to the 2-minute timeout.
One thing about this, you're at least letting the guy throw the football. You're in a position.
On the Toyota halftime in 2 minutes. The Raiders here in a big 3rd down play by Jamarcus Russell, and that one is not going to go well. The jailbreak to get to him, and Kenny Peterson did. Down he goes, and the Broncos are going to get one more chance to add to their lead before halftime.
Boy, that was just an absolute jailbreak. Great push of the pocket on the inside. You see Peterson, number 90, coming. Nobody hits him. Well, I'll tell you what, I'd have had a lot more than 11.5 sacks in my 9-year career if nobody hit me like that. He started to rush. The guard shot out of there. The center went the other way. And Kenny Peterson said, "Thank you very much. I'll take this sack."
Broncos call a timeout to stop the clock, Mike. That's their last timeout, so they'll have a minute 45 or so, and they will have no timeouts to work with on their final drive.
Again, you talk about helping your young quarterback. We saw Curry on a long pass drop a ball, could help his young quarterback. You see the O-line, a much maligned offensive line over the last couple of years, you know, trying to kind of reinvent themselves this year, making a bad blocking error to get their quarterback sacked on 3rd and long.
I'd like to think this could get better, but I really don't see it right now. You don't see any execution really by anybody. Every once in a while they run the ball. The offensive line's pass protection is not very good.
That's Eddie Royal going to let it go in the end zone, and will it? Yes, it will, and so it'll come out to the 20. Jay Cutler will have a minute 44, no timeouts to work with, trying to add to his lead. Minute 44 to go before halftime. Broncos trying to add to a 17-0 lead from their own 20. And here's Jay Cutler looking down the field, and he hops it in there to Brandon Stokely. Mike Golic, during that short break, you said he's just going to run the clock out.
You know, you're not supposed to take prisoners in this situation.
You see Cutler's numbers, and he had the drop in the end zone by Scheffler that would have been another touchdown. He's been very good in the early going tonight. Broncos without a timeout. But he will try and go down the field, and he'll fling it outside. And there's that guy again, Eddie Royal. Are they going to rule him down? Yes, they are. They'll rule him down outside the 30, out over the 35 to about the 37.
Now, I don't know if that was D'Angelo Hall on him there again, but I tell you, if it is, he's turning him around like a yo-yo.
Kind of just what I said. They'd run the ball, all right?
You're right. Mike, you're right on target again. Yep, he's turning that D'Angelo Hall around pretty consistently.
Cutler trying to lead his team perhaps in field goal range. Flags fly. Royal with the catch. Gets out of bounds, would stop the clock, but let's see what the penalty is.
Flags flying that early. Got to be an alignment problem or a movement on offense. That's going to be on offense.
I think he found a new favorite
Illegal
receiver.
formation. Number 82 offense was not on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That really
Wally Pipp, exactly.
Tell you what, Brandon Marshall might be watching this saying, I'm not getting 104 catches this year.
He could be Wally Marshall. Here's Cutler downfield. Throws it to someone else this time. Here's Brandon Stokely, who's out over the 45. And so they'll hurry it up. Plenty of time. They could stop the clock here, Coach, or they won't. They're in the shotgun.
They're going to work on a 2-minute period. That's all they're going to do.
Cutler outside, stops the clock. 42 seconds as that one is short, intended for Royal.
We got the defense playing, back. Normally this defense.
And he can't get near him. That's the other point.
Take that back. I think you know a lot about a little.
Cutler over 200 yards already here in the first half passing. And here he is, and let's see how he runs. Ooh. Not so well. That's Nnamdi Asamoah making the play. They don't want to throw the ball anywhere near him, and they may not want to run anywhere near him either after that, and that's going to set up a 4th down.
Second charge.
And so the Raiders will call a timeout, which at least will give them a chance to try to block a punt.
I don't think they're going to punt it.
Not going to punt it on a 4th and.
Oh yeah, I think they're definitely going to
fairly long in their own territory.
I tell you what,
You could have lost the quarterback right there.
they're not throwing his way at all.
See if they love to throw that now.
I do. Nnamdi Asamoah.
I love it.
Try and come after the punt here with 33 seconds to go in the half.
Could you work for the UN?
Make a little something happen, perhaps in a future life. The punt is away from Brett Kern, and here's Johnny Lee Higgins angling over the sideline, and they take him out of bounds. Another just a smart play. Don't give them a chance. Kick it to the sideline. Don't give them a chance to make a big play on the return. The Raiders, gentlemen, have lost the last 18 home games in which they've trailed at halftime. No other team in the league has a current streak even half that long. So that does not necessarily bode well for the Raiders in the second half. But we'll see. Jamarcus Russell, would you expect him just to run at the clock here, Mike?
You're putting it on me again since I was wrong about Denver.
Why don't I ask the one who actually coached?
Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you leave me alone?
I wouldn't. I think when you give up, that's when you lose.
I'll let you know after this play.
I'm not saying I'm right, but I don't give up. That's all.
They're going to throw the football. Well, they'll throw a little screen. Oh, and a dangerous one at that. As sneaking up on the play was number 90, Turdell Sames, and almost turned that into a disastrous mistake, as that just a Fargus, and there's no reason the Raiders need to run another play if they don't want to.
I think you say adios. You go in and regroup.
And to adios, they will say maybe he tries to fling one. He does have as strong an arm as there is in the NFL, and they were all moving early.
Oh, let's just end the half.
Let's go.
Ball start, number 74 offense.
That's the end of the half.
Inside of 1 minute, that requires a 10-second runoff, or they can buy it with a timeout.
No need for them to do that. They will run off the clock, and Lane Kiffin will run off the field at halftime with his team down 17-0. The Denver Broncos, a very impressive first 30 minutes as we play this final game of Week 1 of the 2008 NFL season. We'll be back in Oakland in just a little while. Now here's Chris Berman with the Toyota halftime report. Boomer.
Favorite receiver there. He's got the ball a little bit to everybody. Eddie Royal certainly has become his favorite receiver. Protection has been good. His decision making has been good. This guy's got he's got a gun for an arm.
He's looked awfully good, but the strong-armed quarterback of the Raiders, Jamarcus Russell, will get the ball first here in the second half as that one slips through the fingertips of Johnny Lee Higgins. And so as Russell comes out, Mike, what have we seen from him in the first half?
Well, I mean, we've seen a young quarterback making some mistakes, but to go along with those mistakes, his teammates aren't really picking him up. He drops the ball there. That's all on him. You know, he's got to be able to make that throw. Here, he gets it down to Ronald Curry, normally reliable. He can't make the catch. Here, it's just a little bit overthrown. And here you have a mistake to flip the ball up. All of a sudden you lose at 15 yards. They've had fumbles, they've had drop balls, they've had drop catches, and he's made some bad decisions. So while he's not doing that well, his team is not really picking him up at all.
A few defensive penalties that hurt them as well. A couple of roughing calls on D'Angelo Hall that did not help. And so Russell will throw it to begin the second half, and he'll dump it off. And you've been waiting for that all night, Coach, to dump it off for the tight end.
But here's the thing. Even in that situation right there, he didn't want to dump the ball to him. Now, you're right. It's only a 3 or 4 yard gain. But you got to get something going. You got to get a rhythm going. He wanted to go deep with the ball. Take what the defense gives you. Don't force it.
Gain of 3.
Cannot overemphasize that for all intents and purposes, last year was a complete loss for Jamarcus Russell.
And I'm not blaming him. This is a process. He's going to have to do this on the run now. I mean, he can't sit around and watch anybody do it. He's got to do it on the move.
Here's Russell on the move again, throws it over the middle, got a man, and got a completion, and there's Curry, who holds on this time as we go down to the field and say hello to Susie Culver. Susie.
Well, Mike, when I asked Lane Kiffin his thoughts at halftime, he asked me, do I have any answers for him? After a short chuckle. Then he said what he told his guys was we have to get back to basics. He said we are killing ourselves, shooting ourselves in the foot. He said to the guys, just settle down, forget there was a first half, and start over from here.
I think that was Susie's chance to lay a little knowledge on Lane Kiffin there and give him a few pointers.
Maybe she said give the ball to McFadden. McFadden on the field now, the number 4 pick in the draft this year. And here he is. And he goes outside. Nice game, Mike.
You know, and certainly it is, but I want to go back to Jamarcus Russell. The coaches talked about him in the offseason, that he did everything asked of him and more. Coming into the offseason program where you lift and you run, he would come in early and watch an hour and a half of film every day with the coaches, going over plays, going over everything that happened last year, working on reads. Now, obviously, it doesn't matter until you get out on the field and you're doing it for real. But he put in his time. They said they didn't have to really hold the playbook back. What they were feeding him, he was taking. Doesn't have the entire playbook, but he's been learning extremely well. But now practical application sometimes can be a little different.
McFadden again, and on the second effort, he's got a first down. And the Oakland Raiders have not had a whole lot of continuity at the quarterback position. Rich Gannon, of course, won an MVP here. He was their starter on opening day in '04 and followed in succession by Kerry Collins and Aaron Brooks and Josh McCown. And now the 5th different opening day starter in as many seasons is Jamarcus Russell. Only one other team has started 5 different quarterbacks in the last 5 opening days, and that's Miami, with Chad Pennington being the 5th, starting and playing awfully well yesterday in a losing effort against the Jets. So a first down now here for Russell. And a chance to get something going, and certainly enough time they don't have to get out of their offense if they don't want to.
Gotta go right there.
And they'll swing it outside, and that's Justin Griffith, and he's out near another Oakland first down.
You know, a nice play, and it's making it a lot easy on Jamarcus Russell here. You know, not to say that he has to get it made easy for him all the time, but, you know, you're going to one man, he's wide open, a good play fake. You know, give him one way to look, have the guy open, and build his confidence slowly.
And you might say it's dinking and dunking, but I'll tell you what, gang, he doesn't have much more time to do anything but dink and dunk. Because when he sits back there to throw it, there's a lot of pressure on him. That offensive line, you got to suit him from on support.
And you know what? This O-line has struggled. You know, again, last year they changed the blocking scheme to that man-power blocking. And Tom Cable, the O-line coach, has put in this the zone blocking scheme, the exact same zone blocking scheme that Denver uses, trying to tuck in Fargas or Darren McFadden behind that line, make a cut and go.
But, you know, in football, like in life, it comes down to a pride factor. Either that guy's better than me or I'm better than him, Mike. And somewhere along the way, when you got individual battles up front, you got to win the majority of them or you're not going to be there.
Amen to that.
There was a first down on the play, and so it's 1st and 10 for the Raiders right around the 41. And here's McFadden again. He'll try the left side again. The left side is where you find Quinn Harris and Robert Gallery, and that time he found Nate Webster to make the tackle.
Boy, those linebackers can fly. You know, that's this Denver defense, a bit undersized. I think one of the reasons they got knocked around against the run last year. But boy, Webster in the middle now. Again, DJ Williams was there last year. He went to outside linebacker in the weak side where he can play in space a little more. But these linebackers for the Broncos have always been able to go sideline to sideline with the best of them.
Second down, and that's Fargas in motion, and that's McFadden on the carry, and he'll try the left side a little more there that time. Tackle made by John Engelberg. Set up a 3rd down.
Again, 3rd and long, though. You know,
it's 3rd and long, but actually, right now, if this situation in the football game, Mike, it's 4 down territory. I mean, there's no point in punting the ball away. If you're close enough to take a field goal, you take it. But other than that, you go right for it.
Certainly from this point, it would be about a 55, 56-yarder. Certainly Janikowski's got a booming leg for that. Not the most consistent in the world, but I would agree with you. I would think they would go for it if they don't make it here.
3rd and 7. Russell looking left all the way. Tries to go that way. Ronald Curry wants a flag. Carl Pema was there on the coverage. And there's nothing yellow on the field.
They're going to kick it. They're going to punt it.
Here comes Shane Leckler. What do you think of this, Mike? Ditka?
Well, I understand field position. You want to pin him back in there. That's what the idea that you can stop them. Right now, they haven't stopped the Denver offense very often.
And as far as the call, I'm not calling that.
No.
I'm not calling that interference. I'm surprised they're punting, though. They're going to play the field position game here.
And so Leckler trying to pin the Broncos deep inside of zone 10. That's a good kick.
Yeah.
And so Royal takes over to zone 8. Weekend long, that breeze coming in off the bay. Perfect night for football, and Jay Cutler has certainly been enjoying it. Off to a great start, and here's Denver's first possession of the second half, and it starts awfully well. That's Andre Hall sharing time tonight with Selvin Young. And off to a good start. How about the first half, Eddie Royal, head coach?
Well, it was unbelievable. And I tell you what, he had no respect for the elder statesman from Virginia Tech. And his partner down there, he beat him every way he could. That was D'Angelo Hall. Short, deep, behind him, underneath him, returning punts. This kid is a really good football player. And he looks like he's having a little fun out there. I like that.
Again, he's a rookie out of Virginia Tech, and Mike Shanahan told us yesterday, Golic, that he seems totally comfortable. The moment does not seem bigger than him, and he has certainly shown you that tonight.
10 touches for 119 yards. I would say so between runs, returns, and catches.
And this time it's Michael Pittman. They have a variety of different running backs in that Denver backfield, all of whom can do different things. Pittman's a good receiver out of the backfield. So they've mixed it up very nicely tonight.
They can all run. That's the one thing they can do. They can all run behind a pretty good offensive line, and that's what you might see a big dose of right now.
Pittman they brought in really to be a fullback. And then Ryan Torain, a fifth rounder who they really like, got hurt, and he's out for about the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season. So Pittman would get a little more work at tailback as well, but they got a nice 1-2 punch with Young and Hall.
On a second down, Cutler has got a man. There he is again. It is Eddie Royal who was just torching the Oakland secondary. That time he beats Jabril Wilson.
This is getting ridiculous what Royal is doing. So first he's going by Hall, and then Jabril Wilson's got to pick him up, and nobody's doing nothing. Just what his speed running right by Wilson. Wilson, who is an excellent support safety, does a great job with the Giants, coming up and laying the hit on people, but coverage has been an issue, and he's not going to stay with a guy who's this fast.
Looked like a traffic cop there.
29 yards on the reception by Royal, and the Broncos are in Raider territory, and they're going to do another one, and Royal might throw it. The Raiders saw it. All their defense was downfield. Now he will throw it and throw it away. Now there is a smart play by the rookie.
Are you kidding me?
Understanding the moment, throw it away, don't take a loss. That's a good play by the
I believe the old football coaches opened up the playbook here, Mike. What do you think?
You're not kidding. And I tell you what, Greeny, the point you make is great. What a smart. We saw Jamarcus Russell, the quarterback for the Raiders, in a position where he should have thrown it away. This guy ain't a quarterback, and he does the right thing in throwing it away.
Where he was, he would have lost about 7 yards if he'd been tackled or gone out of bounds. Instead, he throws it out of bounds. 2nd and 10, you live to fight another day. Smart play by the rookie.
What's he doing off the field?
They're going to run the ball. Nope, they're not going to run the ball.
Got him.
Oh, my God.
Another man is open, and if he breaks the tackle, he could be gone. Darrell Jackson off to the races, and the Broncos are in the end zone again. Denver 23-0 on a 48-yard touchdown pass from Cutler to Darrell Jackson.
Wow.
Just a great fake. I mean, it's just great play calling, really. I can't tell you anything else. Very hard. What a good throw. What an arm this guy has.
The play fake the other way holds Michael Huff just for a second in the middle of the field. He's the only safety back there, and he has to wait to make sure it's not handed off. A wide open reception, and then Michael Huff does a poor job of tackling. Then the easy walk in the end zone. Wow.
Broncos 24, Raiders nothing, and what a night it's been for Jay. Things have not started well for the hometown Raiders. The Broncos have opened a 24-0 lead here almost midway through the 3rd quarter. As Matt Prater, who's been very busy tonight for the Broncos, prepares to kick it off. And here's Johnny Lee Higgins from his own one. And nothing there again. It has been all Broncos tonight.
Is that Eddie Royal?
Well, not a happy night so far for the fans in Oakland as their hometown Raiders are trailing the Broncos by a score of 24-0 in their season opener. And here's their young quarterback, Jamarcus Russell, trying to get something going. Hit from behind as he throws by Elvis Dumervil.
Yeah, I think somebody went down there. They got a guy hurt.
Yeah, Doomerville was in on that one. Other linebackers were on that one. It's just been really, really brutal. Now, Quaim Harris is down. Doomerville, again, 5'11", 260, just flying off the corner. There's Quaim Harris trying to block him. Stutters to the inside. And to the inside. And coming in was Jamie Winborn.
Howard didn't look too bad. Looked on the replay like it could have been real bad as Jamie Winborn rolled up on the back of his knee, but Harris walked off and did not appear to be limping noticeably, so we certainly hope for the best there. 2nd and 10 now for the Raiders at their own 17. Russell gonna run it this time. This fairly nifty ball comes out late.
I believe
does not look like they ruled him down.
I think he fumbled.
They're sorting that out, but there hasn't been a whistle. Broncos
got a flag down now, and I think
it's their ball.
It's got a personal foul on one of the Raiders. This is you're watching self-destruction right here.
Mario Henderson came in for Harris, and he and Marcus Thomas were kind of battling behind the play.
Fumble was recovered by the Raiders after the play. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 79 of the offense. Half the distance to the goal. 3rd down.
Self-destruction, gang.
It's Paul McQuiston, and there's just what they needed. Russell nifty running out of the pocket for the big guy that he is. He's a terrific athlete. Hasn't been a real good night.
No, it hasn't.
This is really, I mean, unless you've been there and coaching in these situations, and this is when you really like to hide. You like to kind of like mail the rest of this stuff in because you ain't going to get no better, gang.
3rd and 16.
No, there's another one.
Right side of the line.
Not only that, he wouldn't have time to throw it anyways. It doesn't matter.
And this is a defensive dream now.
Ball starts. Number 74 offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
It's big Cornell Green.
I mean, what you have now is defensive linemen who are just, you see the butts up in the air, the hand, a lot of, you're going to see these ends come flying off the ball.
It's 3rd and a little more than 20 yards to go, and they'll pitch it out to Fargus. I don't know that you can blame them there.
No.
Crowd probably won't like it, but there wasn't much they were going to do the crowd was going to like, and so they'll have to punt it away, and at least they have a little more space to do that.
Players on side. And the penalties are crazy. I mean, personal foul. This is one of the most penalized teams in football for the last 10 years, and they're proving it tonight. It's just ridiculous.
Here's that guy again. This is Eddie Royal. A chance to do something. Oh, he lost the ball. For a moment, it appeared a Raider might have had a chance, but Royal falls. I know now the Raiders think they have it. I haven't seen anyone point Denver's way, and now you do.
Yeah. Eddie Royal got it. Eddie Royal got the whole game sewed up.
You know, you talked about penalties, Coach. Oakland's averaged 7.5 penalties per game last season, 2nd most enforced by any team in the league. I mean, and we know over the years they have been so penalized.
They have 7 for 56 right now. I mean, they're right on target. I mean, they're going to be double-digit penalties, and I mean, these are big penalties. We're talking about personal foul, 15 yards. I mean, you know, eventually, you know, you got to say wake up. I mean, because you're not going anywhere with those kind of players. You're better off.
Rookie out of Virginia Tech has as many catches for more than twice as many yards as the entire Oakland Raider team, and the Broncos have a 24-0 lead, and Jay Cutler's looking to add to that.
Oh, boy.
And here he goes. He can run, too. And they'll get to the sideline and tiptoe out of bounds.
Well, Eddie Royal has been something special tonight, not just catching the ball. Cutler rolling out. Good job by the rook getting his feet in. Great toe tap, and he is something else. He's the all-time leader of Virginia Tech in all-purpose yards, and boy, he's showing why tonight.
And now Denver go back to the running game, and they have success with that as well. That's Andre Hall breaking through the line.
Oh, boy. I'll tell you what, gang, I mean, like I said, it's not over, but she's loosening up her lungs. She's got her voice going right now.
Here's that zone blocking.
Great block by the fullback. Look at that lead block in there. Chop the guy down. Great running. I mean, they can do anything they want to do right now. They will. They can take this defense and do anything they want to.
No one enjoying it more, you would imagine, than Mike Shanahan. The story well known. He was the coach here of the Raiders 20 years ago, coached 4 games into the '89 season, did not leave on good terms. The relationship with Al Davis remains strained, to say the least. You know, he loves beating the Raiders, and beating them so far he is tonight badly. Andre Hall again on the carry.
Another 6 yards on the play. This is just, and this is what I talked about earlier. Both these teams were awful against the run last year, and now, you know, it's really kind of rolling up on Oakland. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. I played D-line my entire career, and there is nothing more demoralizing than getting run on. That means you are just physically, man on man, getting beat. And it makes film sessions really ugly the next day.
Well, there's not a whole, I mean, this is just manhandling. It really is. They can do anything they want to. They can toss it right, they can toss it left, they can run it up the middle.
All right, let's go back to the studio now for an update. Here's Trey Wingo. Trey? At your Sports Center right now, in Oakland right now, the Denver Broncos are having their way with the Raiders, and here's Cutler flinging it outside. Oh, and a drop there, the rare mistake. Peyton Hillis on the drop. Hillis from Arkansas.
It's a touch throw, but he can zip that ball in the tight areas. It's a big, tall guy, and he can see over the line, and he's making great decisions. And he's good out of the pocket. What the heck? The guy does everything.
Particularly good out of the pocket as he gives it that time to Selvin Young. He has a nice 1-2 punch of backs to give it to.
Just watch what he does here. I've heard, you know.
And one thing else we can look at him, his jersey's not too dirty. Let's give a little love to the big uglies up front.
He had broke a sweat.
They are protecting him extremely well, and they're using the half rolls extremely well. It's just been an excellent job of play calling.
Eddie Rowe is at the top of your screen, but Cutler's looking the other way on this play, and that one is in there from 10 for Brandon Stokely.
And why it was incomplete is this reason. He threw it low. Watch why it happened. Brandon Stokely had double coverage. 2 guys pinned him in there. That's where he had to go with the ball. That's why he threw it into the ground. That's a good decision.
Health late in the year, again diagnosed with diabetes in April of this year, but Cutler having a huge night tonight as Matt Prater is on to attempt a 43-yard field goal. It's up and it's good, and the Broncos add to their lead. It's now 27-0. And so the frustration for Lane Kiffin and this Oakland Raider franchise headed a positive direction.
Well, I mean, that's the big question, because if Al Davis had his druthers in the offseason, they'd have gone another direction at head coach. You know, he wasn't happy with what Lane Kiffin was doing. Lane Kiffin wanted to fire Rob Ryan, the D coordinator. Al Davis said no. So the Lane Kiffin and Al Davis were battling. Al wanted Lane to resign, and Lane said, no, you don't want me here, fire me. So these two have a bad relationship going. Lane wanted to fire the guy who's a defensive coordinator on the field right now, Rob Ryan. Coach, it's a mess.
Well, you know, there's an old saying, and I can't say the whole thing, can't make chicken salad out of chicken, you know what. And I tell you right now, they don't have that many good players out there. You got to look at the decisions being made in the front office and player personnel and drafting, because it's just not working. They drafted number 1. I mean, my God, they drafted Russell. Now they drafted this year McFadden. This should be a much better football team than it is.
A brief sign of life there is Johnny Lee Higgins on a nice return. They also drafted Robert Gallery, number 2 overall a few years ago, to play left tackle. He's moved inside to guard.
And where it is with this relationship with Coach and Al Davis is, you heard Lane Kiffin. He spoke up and he said, listen, I don't have a lot to work with here. You know, I don't think they're picking up players off the waiver wire to compete with the guys that we have here. A clear shot at Al Davis, basically Lane saying, I don't make the decisions. And you know, if you're the coach for the Raiders, you don't. It starts and stops with Al Davis.
Well, that's unfair, because there's no reason to have a head coach if that's what's going to happen. And I'm sure right now Lane Kiffin doesn't feel like a head coach, because he's not in a position to make the calls that are instrumental in making his team become a success, and, you know, not holding.
There's Darren McFadden.
Darren McFadden
Gets out there about 8-9 yards on the pickup. Lest you should think that the youth of Lane Kiffin is part of the reason that Al Davis is behaving the way he is. He's hired a lot of young coaches.
Number 80 offense.
The lack of success is why it's happening. You know, we had success with other coaches. Would have been John Roush, would have been John Madden, would have been Tom Floyd. They all had success. They had a great organization, a great foundation, great player personnel. They had some of the best players in football, and they won. They're not winning right now. So the point of, you got to fire somebody. You can't fire the players. You got to fire the coach.
Al Davis himself was the coach of the Raiders once upon a time at age 34. John Madden was hired at the age of 32. John Gruden was the youngest coach in the NFL when he was here. So this is nothing new for the Raiders, but they are on an unprecedented bad streak for this Very proud franchise. Here they are now on a 1st and 13. And here's McFadden. Seen anything from him?
Well, I mean, at this point, the defense is just teeing up. I like his burst when he gets a bit of a hole. He does have a nice burst to get through it, but it's really tough to tell a whole lot tonight. Again, you know, a high draft pick, Jamarcus Russell, a high draft pick. How well has that worked out for the Raiders? Well, guess who the drafted Pro Bowler the Raiders had? You go back to 2000, and it's the punter, Shane Leckler. Yeah. That's it. That's the only drafted Pro Bowler they've had in a while. I mean, it's been awful with the decision, with the personnel making decision.
Well, you know, again, I don't want to belabor the point. You can sit here and beat up the coaching staff all you want. You know, players play, coaches coach. And once they cross that white line, it's called the sideline, they got to play. I don't see a whole lot of playing going on right now.
Russell zips that one out there to Ashley Lee. Now here's the positive side of the spin if you want to give it for the Raiders. They are very young with highly drafted and highly touted players. They have Darren McFadden in the backfield. He's young. Fargas is still young. Jamarcus Russell, obviously, for all intents and purposes, is a rookie. He is very young. Zach Miller is young, the starting tight end. McFadden is the youngest player in the National Football League, just turned 21 a few weeks ago. So they're young, growing pains. The coach is young. Give them some time. Maybe they put something together. Obviously, to this point, this has been a disastrous start for their season. There's Fargas.
That's a great run right there. That's a great 2-yard run because there was nowhere to run. The offensive tackle and guard was driven back into the offensive backfield. He had nowhere to go. He bounced it outside. He gained a half a yard.
You know, and I know what you're saying, Greeny, as far as youth here, but you know, you've read their record over the last 5 years and how bad it is. Talent has to develop. And you know, in this league, there's no 3- and 5-year plans anymore. These high draft picks have to come in and they have to produce. And you also have to find those diamonds in the rough. Jimmy Johnson was so good at that when he built the Super Bowl teams in Dallas. You find those guys, and right now it hasn't been done in Oakland.
Here's Russell. Going to dump it off for Fargas this time. He's got a little room and he's got a first down.
That kid's a good football player. He doesn't have to apologize to anybody the way he plays and the way he runs, because he runs north and south, and he gets after you.
11 yards on that.
Could be the last play of the third quarter. We'll see if they try and hustle another one in here and save a little time. Russell now looking up. He sees the clock. He realizes he's not going to get a playoff. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. It has been a very, very difficult opening night for the hometown Oakland Raiders. It's been all Broncos tonight. Jay Cutler by Southwest Airlines on ABC Saturday night at 8 Eastern time.
Looks like Ohio State will have their running back Chris Beanie-Wells for that game. The last game.
Marcus Russell, as we begin the fourth quarter here in Oakland, has got a man, and he's down inside the 10 as the Raiders trying to get something going for themselves tonight. That's the fullback Justin Griffith who makes the catch.
You know, there's nothing the matter with this kid's arm. I mean, he can throw the football. He's got a great arm. You know, it's just put him in a situation where he can succeed and not fail all the time. There he had time. He did a half roll, good bootleg fake, got the ball down the middle. I mean,
that's the best looking play of the night for them.
Well, you know, this guy's an athlete.
Yep.
Do that stuff. Don't ask somebody to stand in the pocket, throw the football when that's not his strength.
25 yards on the game. Russell has looked good here on this drive. And he's going for it all here, and he overthrows his tight end, Zach Miller.
Good throw. It was a good choice.
And that was smart. You know, he was looking for Griffith out in the flat, and he was covered. Then he went right to Miller, saw he was covered, and got rid of the ball. I guarantee you, when he was sacked earlier in the game by holding the ball too long, he was told to get rid of it. And that time, look not there, get rid of the football.
You just, you know, you hate to pull for one team or another, but you got to pull for this. You hope this kid succeeds. I think, you know, it's a shame if he doesn't. I think he has a talent to be a pretty good football player in this league.
Well, the young quarterbacks, it is often a learning process, and he's learning out here tonight. Two tight ends on the field now for the Raiders. Russell's looking left. Flings it down to Miller. Nice grab.
And actually, it was a good throw because right now they're playing this half roll or roll pretty well. That's the Denver Broncos. They're bringing somebody out after him every time. So, you know, he's got somebody in his face before he throws it. Watch what, pretty good fake here. Now watch what happens. See, here comes number 79. Now he's got to throw this football. So it's not a perfect throw. Miller makes a great play on it.
Marcus Thomas, the Bronco, giving chase. And so a third down here for the Raiders. They can pick up a first down inside the 1. He'll throw it. No, he won't. He run it himself, and the Broncos saw that coming, and he's got absolutely nothing.
Well, they're playing it pretty well. This is a pretty well-coached defense right now. They know what they're doing. They're not going to let him get away with that naked bootleg and
Marlon McCree, the one that's not fooled on this. And again, when you're in a position of being up the way you are, you don't have to try and take any chances on defense. You just play your responsibility. That's been the biggest difference for this defense coming into this year. Bob Slowick running the defense. Jim Bates was a coordinator last year, and this year is really play your responsibility. Play your gap, play your responsibility.
And play hard. Play to the whistle. Play hard. But you're right. You have a job to do. Do it.
They'll go for it on the 4th down. No reason to kick a field goal. Down 27-0. So 4th and 8 for the Raiders. Russell, he'll loft it in the end zone. Up and in for the touchdown. Ashley Lilly with a great catch, but we'll see what the penalty is.
No, it's defense.
Lilly went up.
They don't dare call her on the outside. They don't dare call her on the outside.
You're right.
Believe me.
Could you imagine that?
No. Interference. Number 41 defense.
Absolutely.
Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Carl Pema drawing the flag. But the touchdown stands. It's something for them to build on.
No, it is. You know what? Again, you have to look at the little positives. That was a fade route. It's a nice throw. Get it up in the air, and your receiver is supposed to high point the ball, and that's exactly what Lilly does. I mean, that was picture perfect. So again, take the little positives out of it.
For the record, not exactly sure what Pema did. It looked like Lilly had 2 hands on him and was moving him around. But a touchdown counts. Extra point try now for Janikowski, who's up and good. Janikowski, who during the course of this season will probably become the Raiders' all-time leading scorer, but they're in the end zone. It's Russell to Lilly, and the Raiders are on the board. Broncos have a 27-7 lead here in Oakland. The Raiders just put together a drive and got on the board. Sebastian Janikowski will kick it away, and it's Andre Hall who's deep, and he'll stay back there. As we send it down to Susie Culber, as 2 prominent Raiders have left the field. Susie, what's the story?
Yeah, surely insult to injury for the Raiders. During that last series, I watched Darren McFadden come out of the game. Couldn't really tell if he looked dejected or if he had been shaken up. After talking to the trainers, he walked himself into the locker room, and now the Raiders say they're checking his left shoulder for an injury. Also, defensive end Derek Burgess in the locker room. No report on him as yet.
All right, Susie, thank you. Burgess,
35,
perhaps their most important defensive player.
35 sacks over the last 3 years. Yeah, I would say so.
All right, Selvin Young in the backfield now for the Broncos as they've alternated much of the night, and the pitch goes to Young, and Young will take it up the left side and find plenty of room there. Selvin Young, the undrafted free agent rookie who had a terrific year last year and brims with confidence, told us in our meeting yesterday, Mike, his goal, 2,000 yards this season.
And he meant it. I mean, he's a man who has goals and has a flag down on the field. And he said it, you know, matter of fact, he wants 2,600 total yards and 2,000.
Secondary tonight. How does a player like Selvin Young, no one can expect much, he wasn't drafted, how does that guy catch the coach's eye to where now he's the focal point of the offense?
Well, it's like this kid Johnson down in Tennessee. I mean, would he go to the 4th round or something? I mean, every once in a while, these guys will fall through. You know, you have a lot of these hero players, like McFadden, justifiably so. He was a great college player. There's a lot of good ones out there. But that doesn't mean that Young was not a great college football player. It's just that, you know, as you go through that draft system, you have other needs. You might take an offensive lineman, a defensive end, a safety, a corner. You know, so the guy might fall down a little further than he normally would have.
It's Young fighting for yardage up the right side this time.
Face mask call going to go against the Raiders here. I mean,
this is tough.
It's just
the party's over.
Just brutal what's going on.
Well, you know, you got to have discipline to play this game.
Number 98 defense. Another penalty, first down.
It's Jay Richardson.
You got to have discipline to play the game.
And you see the Denver Broncos under Mike Shanahan have been the best running team in the National Football League, regardless, it seems, of who's running the ball for them. You see a lot of household names in that group, of course, with Davis and Clinton Portis, and then others who you certainly didn't expect, perhaps least of all, Selvin Young, who had the 3rd best season for an undrafted rookie running back ever last year. Dominic Rhodes and the late Fred Lane the only ones with better. And so Mike Shanahan, he finds them, he plugs them in, and they run the football.
And he thinks this guy's as good as some of the first-round backs out there. He broke his fibula at Texas, so that certainly slowed him down some. The healing up process for that, that's going to scare some people off. But, Shanahan certainly knows how to use backs in this system.
This time they'll run it up the middle.
And they'll get 5 yards.
And they'll get 5 yards as they have just about the entire night. They're moving down the field with the help of some Raider penalties as well.
But vision, we're not sure what they are right now. Merriman's got the bad knee. And boy, Denver is certainly coming out of the gate strong.
I tell you, they've impressed me. Denver's impressed me. The play calling alone has impressed me. Execution's another thing. Watch it. Watch this.
And here's Eddie Royal. Watch him go. And he's down inside the 10 again. What a night for Eddie Royal.
But watch what he does. He's trying to get the ball into the one window, and it's not there, and he waits and he waits. Eddie Royal uncovers back to the inside. Watch what happens here. He wants to throw the ball. Watch. Here. It's covered. Now he uncovers inside. Bang. Right into the hole. I tell you what, that's very impressive. That quarterback is a good quarterback right there.
He's really cool.
Oh, yeah. Wait, he throws it. If he throws it where he wants to throw it in the beginning, it's an interception.
I'd say 19's pretty cool as well. Eddie Royal.
What a debut.
He gets a game ball, I'll tell you that.
Rookie out of Virginia Tech. Quarterback may get one as well. They're going to run it up the middle this time with a big fullback, Peyton Hillis. And he moves the pile down close to the 5-yard line. Well, we'll find out as time goes on. This obviously has been one-sided. The Broncos have looked very good. The Raiders very bad.
They've imposed their will on them.
Well, I ask you this, Coach. What do you take out of the first game? Do you not read too much into the Denver win? And they look good, but we say, hold on, let's not anoint them yet. Obviously, it's just 1 week. And the same on the bad side for Oakland.
I got to read a lot more into the Denver win than I do the Oakland. I mean, Oakland, they aren't very good. I'll say that, but I tell you what, I think Denver's a real good football team.
And that good football team has just put another touchdown on the board. That's Selvin Young, who goes in from 5 yards away, and you can hear it in the crowd. The Broncos are leading 33-7.
The key to Denver will be, what hurt them last year, really, they couldn't stop the run. And that was part of their defense was really not very good last year. If they can play defense, this offense is a good offense. I tell you, this kid is a heck of a quarterback.
Oh, boy, the fans.
It's a very tough night. It's got to be so demoralizing to have your season open this way.
They get themselves all painted up to come here, and all of a sudden they're disappointed.
They're great fans, very passionate, and unfortunately not a lot to cheer about tonight. Well, this is what the Denver Broncos, in a nutshell, are all about. Great play calling tonight, but this is their offense.
And continued what has been a very frustrating night for those in Raider Nation. 2 Oakland personal foul penalties did not hurt along the way. The Raiders 10 penalties, 96 yards on those tonight. 34-7, the Broncos lead it as Johnny Lee Higgins takes it out and does not take it very far, taken down just outside his own 10-yard line. Jamarcus Russell will be back on the field as we continue. Raiders down big in their own building. Next week, Monday Night Football returns at its regular time with an NFC East showdown at Texas Stadium. Donovan McNabb, Brian Westbrook, and the Eagles taking on Tony Romo, T.O., and the Cowboys. Monday Night Football, ESPN, 8:30 Eastern. Coverage begins 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS. And the Raiders, with the drive deep in their own territory, little swing pass out to the tight end, Zach Miller. And Jamarcus Russell, Mike, a little better on his last drive.
Absolutely, looking a lot more comfortable, throwing in rhythm. Nice throw right on the button, so he can work those passes in with a strong arm. This is best throw of the night. Put it in there before the safety comes over the top. A little behind here, Miller makes a nice catch, and then a real nice fade ball. Get it up there high, let your receiver do the work for it. It was a nice series for him, and this is what he needs to do in the last 9.5 minutes of this game. As much as he has the ball, just work on getting more comfortable.
He hasn't looked bad tonight if you look back at it. He hasn't thrown a lot of bad balls, made one bad decision early. A couple of balls that Ronald Curry perhaps could have caught, should have caught for him. Mostly it's been the Denver offense, which has been completely unstoppable, and that has taken Russell and the Raiders pretty much out of their game.
Yeah, you take a young quarterback like this and you put him in that play from behind situation. He's not very good at it. Actually, last year, Jay Cutler wasn't good at playing from behind. In the fourth quarter when they were behind, that was the worst rating he had. But I'm just saying that it's hard on a young quarterback. You're trying to do more than you really can do, and it's not working right now.
Third and short, Raiders 1 out of 9 on third down opportunities tonight. They'll try and run it this time, and Fargus going to battle for it, but he's not going to get there. Jamie Winborn among the Broncos who were there to make the tackle.
Nice effort by Fargas for sure, you know, trying to jump over. And, you know, at this point, it's a matter of personal pride. You know, between blocking, running, whatever you have to do. Nice leap. Tries to get there. But each man out there, you know, I know you're a team, but each man individually, Coach, I mean, it's a little bit of personal pride when you get your butt kicked like this. You got to man up as best as you can.
Going to go for it here on fourth down.
Got checks. These guys got to look in the mirror when this is over.
4th and 1 at around their own 20-yard line. They'll try and run it again. It's Fargas. Oh, and he's not going to get even close. And so the Raiders will turn it over on downs, continuing what has been a dominating performance by the Denver Broncos. If you're just joining us, we've seen a lot of that all through the night. Mike Greenberg, Mike Golic, Mike Ditka, Susie Culver, and it's been all Denver at Oakland tonight. 34-7 in what has been a sensational performance by Jay Cutler. Even better by the rookie wide receiver Eddie Royal, who has been terrific. And for Lane Kiffin and the Oakland Raiders, I suppose disaster is really the only word. I was with them at their complex on Saturday. I suppose every team before the season begins, you're optimistic, you feel like you can do a few good things. Tonight they've done almost none.
You never, as a professional football player, a professional head coach, you'll never see something like this coming. And when it comes, it almost blindsides you to the point that you got to go back to start one. I mean, and go back right to the drawing board and start all over from day one and figure out what are we doing wrong? How can we get better? Do we have to go right to doing everything so basic that it becomes very simple for everybody?
They appear to have taken Eddie Royal out of the ball game.
Anybody that wouldn't say that hasn't watched this football game. He is beating him solidly.
2nd and 8 now for the Broncos. We'll see how eager they are to add to their lead. Again, up 27 points. As we approach the 7-minute mark, and they're running it successfully as they have all night long.
Well, you know, obviously it looks they're well in control of this game. Next week they're home to San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego lost to Carolina in the last play of the game. So Denver obviously riding a high going into that game. And guess what? They get back Brendan Marshall. 104 receptions. Remember, it was a 3-game suspension. Appeal got down to 1 game. So he's back next week. You see what Eddie Royal is doing. Guys, you just envision with those guys on either side of the field. Jay Cutler, you want to talk about, you know, a plethora of weapons all of a sudden to be able to throw to.
Well, they'll get a pretty good test for the LT next week, that's for sure. But if they can control that part of San Diego, they'll be okay.
Going to give it to the fullback this time, Peyton Hillison. He's going to take it for another Denver first down. Here's what the Broncos have coming up over the next month. Home with
2 losses or 1 loss. That's pretty big.
And you'll recall San Diego began last season 1-3 and came all the way back to win the division and make it to the AFC Championship game. Cutler swinging, throws it outside, and taken down there around the face mask is Nate Jackson as he's short of the goal line.
Not really playing conservative, are the Broncos?
Well,
yeah, a little bit of history.
I think they opened up that can.
When Mike Shanahan was asked if the feelings for Al Davis had dissipated, the quote was fairly simple. No, they don't dissipate at all.
Yeah, time didn't heal a lot there. So, you know, when you not like they're going to throw bombs, I think, anymore in this game, you know, long passes, but they're going to continue to run their offense.
Well, that's what they do. That's why they're professionals. They try to put the ball in the end zone.
Let's see if Pittman does it. Pittman pushing the pile, and he'll be short there.
Matter of feeling sorry for the other guys. If the other guys want to stand up and stop them, then stand up and stop them. If you can't, then don't worry about it.
Nobody feels sorry for anybody in this league. You know, you see, you know, Tom Brady going out in week 1. Nobody's going to say, "Oh, poor Patriots." It doesn't work that way. You know what? You play with who you got out there. You do the best you can, and no one's going to, you know, throw anybody a pity party for it.
That old saying, you ask no quarter, you give no quarter. You know, you play it the best you can, as hard as you can, for as long as you can. And if it works out good, if it doesn't, get ready for next week.
Show you a lot of pride here by the Raiders if they can rise up and make a defensive stop. From the 1, maybe not. Touchdown Denver. That's Michael Pittman who goes in. 40-7 is the score pending the extra point.
You're the supreme optimist.
Well, you think to yourself, at this point in the game, you're getting completely destroyed. Maybe a couple of the guys in the Raiders get excited.
If we'd have ran into the goalpost back there.
Again, down here, nothing fancy. Big old lineman in the backfield as well. Let's just run straight ahead into the backs of everyone and push the whole pig pile forward.
Jabril Wilson, who was on the Super Bowl Giant team a year ago, was trying to fire up his defensive teammates before that snap, and you could see his frustration.
I can only tell you as a coach, you don't ever see this coming. You just don't ever see it coming.
It is 41-7. It has been that kind of night for Lane Kiffin in his own building. UPS.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that game will not be 41-7, or it would really be stunning.
No, I think it ought to be a good football game. I think, well, what happened tonight, again, I just can't tell you, as a coach, Lane Kiffin, nobody saw this. Nobody.
Johnny Lee Higgins on the return. Right over the 20, and that's going to be about it. Well, as we wrap up week 1 of football 2008, clearly the headline from the first week is the top story there. Tom Brady will go on injured reserve and miss the rest of the season. Mike GOLIC, he may have had the best season any quarterback ever had last year. He was the league MVP, and the Patriots were a favorite to go back to the Super Bowl where they fell just short a year ago. Without Brady, are the Patriots still even the favorites to win their division?
I think it could be a struggle. Listen, they have other talent on that team, but Tom Brady makes the whole thing go. And a lot depends on how much Brett Favre keeps that Jet team going. Buffalo looked pretty darn good. So, listen, I don't think it's a stretch to say they could be in trouble for the division.
Well, I think if they're going to change, they're going to have to change philosophically a little bit.
As Russell
what I mean by that, they're going to have to throw the ball a little bit more. I mean, you're not going to put the ball in the quarterback's hand to throw it 53 times, in the game. You're going to have to go back to running the football a little bit more.
A little more, perhaps, of Lawrence Maroney. Another headline you saw there, Brett Favre looking good in his first start. The Jets getting conservative with the play calling in the fourth quarter. Dolphins almost come back and beat them, but it will be Jets-Patriots this Sunday in New Jersey.
I think the key thing for the Jets, with Chad Pennington there, we knew his limitations with his arm, so you knew there were going to be certain routes run by the receivers, and the defense knew that as well. I think with Brett Favre and his arm strength, the way he throws the ball, the receivers know they're going to get a shot to catch it because Brett's going to try and thread the needle and get the ball in there. So I think it's a big confidence builder for them.
Colts lose. Patriots lose their quarterback. Chargers lose. Jaguars lose. It was a very strange first week in the AFC for the teams we all think are going to be good. Pittsburgh, a very good performance. And frankly, I don't know that anyone has looked much better than Denver looked tonight.
No, it'd be hard to look better than they look tonight. And I think the one other thing, too, when you talk about one other team, Tennessee now, their quarterback did not play well.
No.
That's a pretty solid football team with a good defense, a good running game. And if they can get that thing fixed out at quarterback, they're going to be a pretty good football team. But I mean, right now, it's only 1 week into the season. It's anybody's.
Kerry Collins will be the quarterback for Tennessee as Justin Fargas breaks into the clear. Fargas over the 40, inside the 35, and finally taken down close to the 30-yard line. Fargas, who broke out last year, back out of USC, still playing hard out there. Finally got his chance to start last year and took advantage of it.
Yeah, he deserves better than this because this kid's a good football player. I mean, he's a good, hard runner, and he can make something happen. He's a good guy to have on your football team.
41 yards on that run, signed a contract extension in February, and then 2 months later, they draft Darren McFadden. But it could be a very nice 1-2 punch.
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. Darren McFadden better play a lot better than he's played so far. He's going to replace this kid.
Does he have to replace him, Mike, or he could just put together a nice little 1-2 punch as Russell tries to float one upstairs?
That looked like a mugging.
Contact.
That looked like a box
mugging
on the basketball court. And no, Greeny, I don't think he has to replace him. I think he has to work with him. And that's what Justin Fargas said too when they drafted him. He said, we'll work well together. We'll help each other out. As we look at they're going back and forth on I'm not calling anything there.
They also have Michael Bush,
right?
Highly regarded, coming out of Louisville.
I don't think there's going to be any room for him, quite honestly, in that backfield.
Well, right now you don't know that because McFadden went into the locker room and hadn't come
very
out
true.
yet. So
but this guy, Justin Fargas, I tell you, he's earning that money right now. He runs hard. There's no quitting him. I love his attitude.
That is Bush, who takes the fake from Russell, and Russell now looking downfield and finding his man down inside the 10.
My goodness, he found the tight end again. That's 4.
Started every game last year as a rookie on the offensive side, and we do expect him to be a big help to Jamarcus Russell.
He was in his other start. He really was. And it's pretty good, solid football. But first of all, you don't have to make great moves at tight end. You go down, you put a little wiggle on a safety. They can't cover anyway, and use your big body to position yourself between the ball and him, and you make a play.
Like this kid a lot. Like him a lot. Coming out of Arizona State, because he can move like this. He can line up in the slot. He blocks fairly well.
Russell swinging outside. That's Justin Griffith battling still, takes it down to the 4.
That's you want to see. Listen, let's not mince words here. Guys are playing now because they know they're going to watch film and they know jobs can be on the line, even if it's week 1. Guys need to get some personal pride.
2-minute warning. We'll be right back. 2-minute warning in Oakland. Sports Center follows us here. Broncos and Raiders. Take a look at highlights of the Packers and Vikings. A big win for Aaron Rodgers in his first game. Tom Brady done for the year. All your news and highlights coming up on Sports Center right after football here on ESPN as the Raiders try to get themselves back in the end zone for the second time tonight. Justin Fargas comes up short. Now we saw Zach Miller making the play for the Raiders a few moments ago. Good-looking tight end.
I like him a lot. I mean,
but here's what a tight end is supposed to look like, Mike Ditka.
Listen, this is slow motion. There's no way anybody could run that slow without going backwards.
Look at you running over everybody.
I have to tell you that was slow motion.
That's why
they slowed the film down. Actually, I was a lot faster than this.
This is why you're a Hall of Famer, except I have a question for you. What is that? What, do you not run your gassers?
Let me tell you something.
What is that all? You're supposed to be in shape.
That guy who tackled me was Clinton Thomas. He's the first guy who missed me. That's how bad I was.
Come on, weren't you in shape then?
I was sad. What the heck? I'm still in there.
Mike Ditka, for those who only know him as the lovable curmudgeon analyst that he has become, the first tight end ever voted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. You look tired at the end of that play.
Just call me Sparky, will you?
Well, how long did it take you to get up from that one?
Well, that's a good question because I don't remember.
Won the Super Bowl as a coach, as a head coach, as an assistant coach, as a player with the Cowboys. Won an NFL championship as a player with the Bears.
A lot of fun.
When I was a senior at Notre Dame, getting ready for the draft, I had to go do a speaking gig, and Mike Ditka was speaking there as well. Now, this was before the draft. and I met Coach Ditka, and we chatted for a bit, told him, Coach from Notre Dame coming and blah, blah. Draft's in a couple of months, it was before that. We're chatting and stuff, and I get up to say goodbye. I shake his hand. I said, Coach, really nice to meet you. And I kid you not, his quote to me was, hey, Mike, good luck in whatever you do.
Well, listen.
So I immediately thought, well, I'm not getting drafted by the Bears.
Well, I thought I had a job for you at this corner bar there.
Perhaps he foresaw radio in your future.
Oh, man, that's a true story. I said, wow.
Here's 3rd and goal for Jamarcus Russell into the end zone and incomplete.
Well, the amazing thing about this, you can blame Russell all you want to. Nobody was open on the play. They sent 4 receivers out. Nobody was open. So, you can blame who you want to.
The one thing he does have, he certainly has confidence in his arm.
Oh, yeah.
That he can try and drill it in there, and I do like that. It could eventually get you into some trouble, but I'd rather say back off than I need more out of you. He tried to drill that one in there nice and low. I do give him credit. At this point, guys, I'm looking for the glass half full at something, which I'm sure what Lane Kiffin is going to try and do.
4th down, last chance for the Raiders. 4th and goal. Russell looking.
Touchdown, Raiders! The Raider Nation erupts.
Mike Ditka excited as Ronald Curry hauls in a touchdown in the final minute and a half from Jamarcus Russell. Makes it 41-13. Another nice drive.
I'll tell you what, these Raider fans just can't wait till next Sunday. Put this one behind you and get to the next game.
What do they play next week? Kansas City, I think, isn't it?
Raiders, I believe, are on the road at Kansas City. That's correct.
So, yeah. Well, it ain't getting any easier.
We'll take a look at their schedule in a moment as Sebastian Janikowski adds another extra point. Take another look at the play here. How'd they do this one, GOLIC?
Well, I mean, he had time, too. It's a 3-step drop, so he does have some time to throw. Nice move to the inside for Curry. And, again, there's no questioning the strength of the arm. He can get it there.
You'd be surprised. Most quarterbacks who have time to throw it, most of them can throw it pretty well.
It may sound ridiculous to say, but Jamarcus Russell hasn't looked bad tonight. I mean, the Raiders have looked bad in so many different areas. He hasn't looked bad.
Go back to the one point you made earlier, Mike. If Curry catches that ball, at that time it's 10-0. They're driving. Who knows if they get a touchdown or field goal? It could be a different game. But that's a lot of ifs and buts. We can't do that.
And you know what? No interceptions. He did have the ball slip out of his hand. He fumbled it away. An overthrow here, an errant throw there. But a key in the NFL now with quarterbacks is sometimes it's
let's punt and live for another day, don't turn the ball over. So again, if you're looking for the small positives out of this, he didn't turn the ball, interception-wise. He did drop the ball, lost it on a fumble, but not on an interception.
Well, you know, right now, the way they played,
Giving up a little bit under 400 points for the year, so mightily struggled on defense, and Rob Ryan trying
onside kick. Nope.
Janikowski will boot it away. And here comes Eddie Royal, and he will smartly, once again, showing you some smarts, taking a knee, no reason to take it out
cookie right there.
He's played a terrific game. Here's Oakland's schedule over the next few weeks. They are indeed at Kansas City, then at Buffalo.
Yeah, Chargers.
Home with the Chargers.
Well, it's not getting any easier game.
They're going to Kansas City. Kansas City losing to New England, but, you know, again, Brady getting lost in that game.
Have to believe Denver will just take a few knees here, and that should be that for tonight.
Victory formation, as they call it.
Yeah, this is the one you like to work on.
Well, for Jay Cutler and the Broncos, it was as good a way to start a season as you could ever imagine. They may have found themselves a young star in wide receiver Eddie Royal. They'll get Brandon Marshall back next week. Their defense was dominating, and their quarterback looked terrific.
And I'll say it's a pretty rewarding win for Mike Shanahan and his staff. I mean, you know, there's no love lost between these two organizations, and I think it's a great win for him and his staff. And you know, being a guy that used to mess around with this stuff, I enjoyed the play calling tremendously tonight.
I absolutely agree.
I thought a lot of imagination on their part.
Rick Dennison, the offensive coordinator for the Broncos. It was a well-run offense. And I'm really looking forward to watching this team when Brandon Marshall comes back. Yeah. Again, he had 104 receptions, gang. He was the man last year. Jay Cutler talked about what a great rapport he had with him, and he wasn't sure who it was going to be tonight, but he did single out Eddie Royal with us yesterday and talking, saying, you know, this guy may have the potential to be something special, and we saw that he is. So, again, these two on opposite sides of the field are going to be some nice weaponry.
16.2 yard per catch. Not bad.
Good quicks. Real nice quicks out of him.
That'll get you there.
And that's going to do it. The final few meaningless seconds will tick off the clock, and for the Denver Broncos, it's a terrific start to their season. For the Oakland Raiders, it is back to the drawing board in an awfully big way.
I don't know if you just burn this tape or learn something from it if you're a Raider fan.
You don't watch it for long, I'll tell you that.
That's going to do it. Our final score, Denver 41 and Oakland 14. SportsCenter is up next here on ESPN. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Susie Culver, Mike Ditka, Mike Golic, and all the men and women who worked so hard to bring you the sights and sounds of the ball game tonight, I'm Mike Greenberg saying thanks so much for being here. SportsCenter is next. So long from Oakland, everybody.